Just quickly, Adoree, just a little injury update. Adoree, does it look like it's anything serious?
Yeah, I would say with all the injuries right now, I don't have any updates for you guys. Got in late last night, so I'll get more updates as the day goes on here, and tomorrow we'll see where we're at Wednesday. That's really with every
Okay.
that's really with every player.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you got
My
it.
question is, look, you guys are out to a 4-1 start, and you're coming off a quality win against a quality opponent, obviously. As a head coach, how do you keep these guys grounded to make sure they just don't get a little bit ahead of themselves?
Yeah, I just think we stay consistent with how we approach things during the week. Again, regardless of result, whether you have a losing record, a winning record, I don't think you can focus on your record. You have to focus on what you need to do to improve throughout the week and for the team that you're playing against, and be as consistent as you can with that. And we've tried to do that as a coaching staff. I know the players have tried to do that, and that's how we'll approach it every week, regardless of the outcome. What do we need to do to fix, the things we want to fix and improve on, build off the things we've been doing well, and be as prepared as we can going into the next game.
Thank you.
Yep, you got it.
Dan Duggan.
Hey, Brian. They had a lot of success in the first half, kind of those quick passes to the flat, like those out routes, and not so much in the second half. What did you change to either take those away or at least deter that?
Yeah, I think, again, some of those plays Aaron checks to, I think. I don't want to speak on behalf of their offense, but he has a pretty good idea. You can see him signaling to receivers, and I think that's predicated on sometimes the defensive look. They did a few of them in the second half, far less of them. But again, I just think that our players executed the defenses that Wink called and defensive coaches called, and there was good communication. We knew that during those first few drives, that was something that they were getting to. It's better than the 50 yarders over your head. But again, I think Wink did a good job of mixing it up.
And I want to follow up. You mentioned the 50 yards over your head. You haven't given up a lot of those. I mean, I guess I'll knock on wood for you. But I think it was sort of if there's a weakness in Wink's defense, especially last year, that's what happened. You kind of come after teams so much you can get beat over the top. Why do you think you guys have been able to play this style and not get beat deep very often?
I think the guys have done a good job of executing, of playing the techniques and the fundamentals that, again, most of it is, a lot of times it's the safeties. They're the last line of defense and playing the deep part of the field and reading the quarterback's eyes. And, again, when we play man-to-man coverage, of trying to do a good job of staying on top and playing the ball. Again, big plays are, they usually result in some form of points. But even the ones that we've given up to this point, our guys have done a good job of lining back up and, it was a long run by McCaffrey, whatever it may be, of playing the next play. And again, early in the year, you watch the league, a lot of those big plays, there's just nobody back there. There's either a breakdown, and as the season goes on, when you're watching the league and you're looking at teams, usually that's tightened up and it's a really good design by the offense or just a really good play by a particular skill receiver. So it's something that we work on. I think that Jerome and Trier do a great job in the back end with those guys, and we test them as much as we can during the week to try to prevent those. It's hard to do when you have a really good team that can push the ball down the field, but that's part of playing, the deep part of the field in terms of secondary. And also goes along with the rush, too. If you can get home and make them throw it quicker, then some of those are, it takes a little bit longer.
Jordan Renan.
Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Jordan.
I know you don't have an update on the injuries, but for Saquon, he obviously came back into the game. Is that something he needs to get checked, or what's the process in that now?
You talking about moving forward?
Yeah, does he have to go get tested on his shoulder, or is there more? Is he, does he
No,
come out?
I think anybody that gets, quote unquote injured or dinged up during the game, our medical staff will look at them. We'll treat them during the week. Again, we'll go
to the doctors and get it, MRI or something special on it like that.
Yeah, I think whatever we need to do, and again, I'm not at that point right now. It was a late night of travel. Whatever we need to do for him, we'll do, and hopefully he'll be ready to go.
And then it's something that I've heard a bunch today. You heard it yesterday after the game, and you're the worst 4-1 team. What do you think when you even hear that?
Yeah, I don't focus on any of that stuff. Whether, again, like I said earlier to Chris's question, our job is to go out there and take a look and correct the things we need to correct each week. Focus on our improvement, some of the things we can do better, build off some of the things we have done okay, and get ready to play our next opponent. That's all we can control.
How much do you maybe at least chuckle at that, saying, "Hey, we're winning games in the NFL. That's all we care about here."
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, Jordan, my focus is on trying to do what we need to do each week and be as consistent as we can. Whether we're 4-1, 1-4, whatever our record is, that's what our record is. It's always about improvement and trying to do the best job you can each week to play your best and coach your best.
Tom Canavan.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Hey, Tom, good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
I want to build off a question that Dan asked earlier about those little check passes that he was throwing, Rodgers. It seemed that the ball's in the air and their receivers are already engaging your defensive backs. Shouldn't that be pass interference?
Yeah, that's up to the officials. So I know the way that we teach it. Again, those are bang type of plays. So you try to hold off the best you can, so that when the receiver catches it, you're kind of simultaneously blocking. And again, those are quick plays. But any of those questions, I'd leave to the officials.
Okay. And the other question I have is, did you take the restraints off Daniel in the second half? I mean, because it seemed like he just started running a lot more.
No, I think that when the opportunity presented itself in terms of scrambling, he did a good job of making the right decision on a couple of those action plays. And then in terms of, a couple of the runs that we had, whether it was zone reads or specifically for him, we waited until the second half to get to those. It was part of, halftime, communication.
Thank you.
Yep.
Ryan Dunleavy.
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Good, Ryan. How are you?
Good. Couple for you.
Sure.
If I could take you back to January when you were interested in this job, obviously it's only one of 32, and the Giants are a historic franchise, and there's a lot that goes into that. But roster-wise, you obviously wouldn't take a job you thought you didn't have a chance to win, and I've heard you say players win the games. Did you think this was a more talented roster than maybe the outside perception of it? Because you have a lot of former Giants draft picks, whether it's Saquon, McKinney, Lawrence, playing at a really high level that I would think is promising for a foundation versus obviously anybody playing good as well. But if it was a bunch of rental free agents, all your young players are playing well. So did you see a chance for this is a place with young players that could play well?
Yeah, no, I understand your question. I kind of live in the moment here, Rye. And my experiences dealing with the guys from OTAs to training camp into the preseason. These guys give everything they have. And I'm honored to coach the guys and be the coach of the Giants, like I've said before. But, each guy tries to get better at the things that they need to do, and everybody on our team is important. Obviously, guys like Dexter and Saquon and X, Leo when he was out there, they're good football players. But it takes all of us to continue to improve and do well. And you saw people, yesterday, like Lane made a couple plays there in the fourth. McLeod made a play on the crossing route. Guys that haven't been here a very long time. That, again, that's our philosophy here, is make sure as a coaching staff we get everybody up to speed as quick as we can, and everybody contribute in a positive way.
The other thing I wanted to ask is, I don't have the number in front of me, and I should. Shame on me. But you guys are outscoring your opponents at a really high level in the second half. My question is, what's a typical halftime like for you guys? Could you just tell it? Obviously, you talk to the team, Are you drawing up plays on your board at halftime? Is it just conversation? Like, what's happening in those 15, 20 minutes that you guys are so much better in the second half than your opponents?
Yeah, I would say, Ryan, the communication goes on throughout the entire game, even in the first half. And things that we think we need to try to fix or how we're getting attacked, I think the coaches do a great job on the sideline. Again, at halftime, you have a little bit more time to talk about it and to really give the guys, hey, look, this is how the game's kind of unfolded. This is what we want to get to. It's not like a mass overhaul of 20 new plays or things like that, but there might be a few things that we're stressing that, look, this is how we think they're attacking us from a coaching side. Here's how we think we can counter that. So I'd be alert for this, and this. Here's a few plays we want to start out with the second half to, whether it was a compliment of the play or maybe it is something that we saw that we changed a little bit. But again, I'd say that the coaches, and starting with Wink and Kafka, they get together with their staffs. But that communication, Ryan, when things are going on, when the defense is out there in the second quarter, you're still talking about that. But then if you have to adjust, again, if you have to adjust in the middle of the second quarter, or usually offenses, go a couple series and you got an idea of, all right, this is how they want to attack us, or the same thing defensively. So you're constantly communicating. It's not, hey, let's just wait to the half to get these things fixed. Let's try to fix them now. And then maybe you got a few more ideas. You kind of be composed at halftime. And again, this is what we think they're doing. This is what we either have to continue to do or change a little bit. And then you go out there and you're ready to go.
Thank you.
Yep.
We have time for two more, Kim Jones and then Ed Valentine.
Hey, Dave, it's Kim. I have two for you, if that's okay as well. Thank you. Hi, how are you?
Good.
I'm just wondering, watching the game from home yesterday, if I didn't know Daniel had the ankle injury, I don't think I would have seen that watching on television. Did he through that period show you anything, whether about toughness, commitment, sloughing off what maybe could have sidelined, at least for some period of time, another player?
Yeah, I think I've gotten to know him pretty well here these last few months. He's a very mentally tough kid. I shouldn't say young man, but he's also physically tough, and I got to see that here just throughout the week. Getting prepared for this team that we had to play and their defense, which they have some pretty good guys up front, but he's really tough. He didn't want to miss any reps, and we also had to try to get Davis ready to go. So again, when each day he got a little bit better, Kim. He was pretty sore, I'd say, after the game, and then the next day, and he's in here as long as he can be in here getting treatment. So, one, he cares about the team, and he did everything he could do to be as ready as he could. And I'd say, he's, for the first 5 weeks that I've been with him in the regular season, I think he's exhibited his toughness, both mental and physical, every day I've been around him.
My second one is, I guess, a similar theme, but about a different person. Wink Martindale is, just such an interesting guy to stand in front of him and listen to some of his answers with obviously a lot of experience. Have you seen anything from Wink or what did you see from Wink where you were like, this is the guy I want to lead my defense?
Well, he has a lot of experience, and he's been pretty successful in this league as a defensive coordinator. And I think he does a great job communicating with the players. I think he does a great job communicating with his staff. He's smart, and I just think he's very prepared, and he's composed on the sideline. And, as a play caller that's done it for some time myself, that's not always the easiest thing to do when things aren't going great. But he's very composed. He's very good with the coaches and the players on the sideline and during the week. He gives his players ownership to our defense, which is important, and also with the coaches as well. So happy he's part of our staff. I think he's a fantastic coach and is even a better person.
Appreciate it. Thank
you.
Yep,
you got it.
Ed Valentine.
Hey, Brian, just one for you to finish up here. You waited a long time for this opportunity. A lot of people are surprised that you guys are 4-1 at this point. I saw multiple stories this morning that Brian Daboll's Coach of the Year. A lot of praise for the coaching staff at this point. I mean, how do you react, at this point to all of that kind of chatter?
Yeah, I'd say it's all about the players. Give those guys credit. They're the ones that come in every day, work extremely hard, do everything they can do during practice in the film room. And I'd say the coaches do an excellent job. The trainers, it's a team. Everything is a team effort here. We've only played 5 games, so this is a very humbling league. It can get you quick. So focus on the next game, the things, again, we can do better, which there's certainly plenty of them. We'll continue to work and try to improve in those areas. But it's all about our team and trying to get better each day.